So our boy Daunte Wright got lit up by Kim Potter. She's had to quit the force now. And all because Daunte just didn't want to go along to get along. Now, of course, the question now becomes, why were the police arresting him in the first place? Well, the news now is that, guess what? Daunte was actually kind of a violent criminal. But that's not the issue I want to talk about. My concern is, what did the police know? And if they knew what they needed to know, would they have acted any differently? Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
All right, so here's a criminal complaint. Now, this is concerning a felony robbery that he failed to appear for a hearing concerning. All right, so let's take a look here. The charge is aggravated robbery, first degree. It's a felony. Now, here's the thing. Right up front, we heard that the warrant was a misdemeanor warrant. That is true. The misdemeanor was what? Failing to appear in court. However, what he was failing to appear for was a felony, and a violent one. So let's take a look here. Typical theft, but it also says used and or threatened the imminent use of force against a victim, and involving a dangerous weapon, or at least what the victim reasonably believes is a dangerous weapon. And guess what? It was a pretty reasonable belief given that it was a gun. So let's read the probable cause statement. Okay, so the police get a report of a call about an assault and robbery. And essentially what happened was that this lady and her roommate had invited Daunte and some other dude named Driver over to party. Now, they knew Driver, but they didn't know Daunte. That's unfortunate. If they had known what he was like, maybe they wouldn't have partied with him. Although I'm not sure, because it seems like people are making a lot of bad judgments about these kind of things lately. Okay, so they come over, they're partying, it's about 2:30 in the morning, and these two women decide that, it's too late, you guys have got to go. Well, they don't have any way of getting home. I guess the women don't want to go ahead and give them a ride, and so they get to stay the night, which is kind of an interesting trick, I suppose. Like, gee, I can't go home, so can I stay here the night? Oh, sure. Man, I should have thought of that one back in the old days. Okay, so in the morning they wake up, and this one roommate decides that she needs to go get some money to pay the other roommate for rent. So off she goes, she comes back, and she gives her friend, the victim here, the $820 for the rent. And off she goes to work. Okay. Now, Daunte and Driver, well, they're hanging out, and at some point, this female victim decides that she needs to leave. Daunte won't let her. He blocks the door, she can't get out, and he demands money. He wants the $820 that he knows that they have. And he threatens to kill her if she doesn't fork it over. He pulls out a gun and points it at her. Give me your money or your life, I guess is how it goes. Well, she won't give it to him, so what does he do? He starts to choke her, and he starts to reach around, try to grab the money out of her, well, let's say, figure. It's stuffed in her bra, so he's reaching his hand down there to try to get the money. In my opinion, that's sexual assault. I don't know why he wasn't charged with it. But he's also choking her, and of course, he's threatened her with a gun. Driver, the other dude, is helping him. He's basically saying, hey, give Daunte the money, which makes him part of the conspiracy. All right, so that's kind of what happened here. In the end, the two dudes get up, they leave, and they don't get any of the money. Okay, so what are the charges here? We have a felony, aggravated robbery, first degree. We also have a modifier here, liability for crimes of another, which I guess driver broke some laws too. And guess what? Daunte is going to get nailed for that as well. Well, he would be if he was still alive. There's also an anticipatory crime. Basically, I think that's the conspiracy. In other words, driver and Daunte were sort of working together on this crime. So the actual conspiracy itself is a felony. Now, the question I have is, what did the police know? If you go back and you watch what happened, the police pull up. So here we have the police pulling up. And notice the officer is basically reaching for their door handle really soon. So he's already got the door and he's opening it. That tells me what? They knew about the warrant really early. The air freshener deal, that was just a lie that old Daunte told his mother because he didn't want to tell her that they were arresting him for having a warrant. I guess he didn't want to get in trouble with her. Do kids ever do that? Oh, yeah. So that's what the air freshener was all about. It was just an excuse he made up. Oh, I'm sure they probably mentioned it. They probably saw it hanging from the rearview mirror, said, oh, by the way, guess what? You can't have that. But he was pulled over for the expired tags. So at this point here, they know that he has a warrant out for his arrest, and they're going to get him out. Now let's watch. He comes out pretty easily. Now it's going to change, of course, and we won't watch all of it. You can watch the other video of mine. You can see the whole deal. But here's the thing that worries me. If the officers knew the nature of the warrant, and that is not just failing to appear, but failing to appear for a felony violent assault, would they have done what they did here? Because in my opinion, if I know the guy behind the wheel has a prior arrest for essentially armed robbery, a felony, then as far as I'm concerned, that's a felony stop. He's way too dangerous, in my opinion, to be pulled out like this. Now, did the officers know the nature of the warrant? I'm not sure. The idea that the lawyer for the family said that this was just a misdemeanor warrant, unworthy of even concern, is ridiculous. He's lying. Okay, he knows what the warrant's about, and he's doing that just to stir up trouble. This was not just an ordinary misdemeanor warrant. If I was the cop, and again, I'm not a police officer, so I'm only guessing here. Some of you guys are. Hey, let me know if you would have done it differently. But as soon as I found out that this warrant was for him failing to appear for a violent felony, especially one involving a gun, I'm going to back up to my car, leave him in there, and I'm going to pull him out using the speaker. I'm just going to get on the speaker and say, driver, get out with your hands up. I would also bring him back up as well. But I think that pulling this guy out like this is a bit dangerous given what he's done in the past. He is a violent criminal. Let's be clear. Daunte is no hero. And he needed to be treated a little bit more carefully here than what happened. Now, why does he act like he does? Well, one, he's stupid. And number two, he's going to go to jail for something fairly serious. And he panics. And those guys can be really dangerous. Now, in my opinion, the female officer really screwed up here. For one, it appears that she got involved in the actual going hands-on with him when I don't think she should have. And the other one, of course, is just mistaking her taser for a gun. That's just ridiculous. But let's be clear. If Daunte had just acted like a normal human being, he would still be alive. And I have tried to tell people millions of times that fighting the cops, trying to flee from the cops, is just a really, really bad thing to do. And he did them, and he paid the price. She made a mistake. She's quit her job. She's facing charges now. But he played just a bigger role in this as she did. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.